What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Murden here at DataDash, and today is September 14th of 2017. So as you all keep up with my channel, you're probably aware that about halfway through each month, I like to sit down and talk about my top 5 recommendations looking forward into the next month. You know, we can take a look back so far at what's happened in September, and we have seen nothing but sell-off. There's a ton of cheap discounts on the market right now that are looking like really great grabs going into the next month, as well as some leaders who, even through the sell-off, have continued to show strength and really are good candidates if we can get a pullback on them. So, what are the top 5 coins that I'm looking for going into the month of October? Let's go ahead and jump into it. And starting off, as always, you all know that I'm optimistic on it. NEO. If you watch my channel, I talk about it a lot. But folks, at these lows, NEO is extremely cheap. Okay, so as we said, you know, there's been a lot of sell-off going into the market over the past month, but NEO itself is under $1 billion. Just a few months ago, it was sitting around a $2 billion valuation. With the Bitcoin pullback, as well as fears in China over ICOs, NEO is holding steady. Nothing's fundamentally changed for it. They are continuing to develop on it, and there's a lot of optimism that has yet to come back into NEO. So I think this is going to be a really good candidate so long as the China fears go away over the next month, and so long as the FUDing kind of fishes out of the market. I really think that NEO is going to be a good candidate. You can see the volume is still consistent. It's one of the most traded items on Bittrex. You can see that nothing's really changed in the sense of circulating supply. And if we go over here to the chart, the chart is looking very good for a buy. Now remember, we talk about it on my channel. Do we buy low, or do we buy high, or do we buy low? You know, if we go here to the ellipse tool, we can get a general area here. Are we going to buy up at these fresh highs? No, folks. And we've been talking about it on my channel and stuff, not to buy up here. Now, see, what you want to do is buy down in this range, okay, when it's on the lower end of things. And you want to look for the moving averages. Now, to be fair, I know I have the 100-day on there. If we put the 50-day, we broke through the 50-day. I thought we'd have support there, but it turns out with the China news, this pushed it down, which is great, though, because now we can get it at even fresher lows. So long as it remains above this 100-day moving average, and if you don't know what those are, you should go watch my Trading Cryptocurrencies for Beginners and Intermediates video. If it stays above the 100-day moving average, this is going to be a fantastic candidate. And I think it's going to show that, look, we had more of a long-term pullback rather than the 50-day. There was a little too much overt exuberance since back all the way in June into NEO. And right now we're finding support at previous resistance. Common market trend. What used to be resistance usually becomes support once you passed it. So again, I think this is confident in price action right here, the fact that we're holding on the 100-day, and I think we're going to continue to curve up, and we'll eventually go back to fresh highs in the coming months. And I think October is going to see a lot of that love once the Chinese fears go away. So definitely keep your eye on NEO. Second one I got to talk about, another one that I'm always optimistic on, is 10x. Another one that we've seen a drastic pullback in due to the ICOs kind of correcting in price action. And we see that now 10x is sitting under 200 million. This was not always at 200 million. Just a few weeks ago, this was valued at much higher. And I think this is a great discount. To get one 10x token at $1.91, I mean, that's a steal right now, folks. So let's go ahead and look at the chart here. Now, this is, again, relatively new in the ICO space. This came out back in July. And we can see that, you know, it had a massive run up to about 175,000 Satoshis. So it was a very big run up for 10x. And at the time, it was worth much more. What's nice is that we've had this very nice steady pullback. It hasn't been a quick run up and then an absolute sell-off. So this shows me that it's accumulating over time, and then it might be a really good candidate to hold in going into the next month. The optimism for 10x is still there. They still have a ton of countries to expand to. Cryptocurrencies are so new. If you don't know what 10x is per se, it's a payment solutions ICO that came out. And if you want to go see a video explaining it, I did a video on why I think 10x is an absolute breakthrough in the space. So you should go definitely check that out. Again, 10x is a long-term favorite of mine. I have a current position in 10x right now. I'm holding it for the long term, and I'm thinking about adding some down here once I increase my Bitcoin position, seeing as the market's been selling off. So again, a wonderful candidate. This could easily go back up into this range over the next month. It just really depends as to whether or not, you know, there's any good news that comes out of 10x, if there's confidence that comes back into the market. But again, I think 10x is a great hedging device if Bitcoin continues to pull back, and I think it's going to be a great long-term winner. So definitely keep your eye on 10x. The next one I want to talk about is Patientori. Now, this coin I'm actually going to be covering today on my channel, but Patientori has gained a little bit of traction recently. I remember when this came out in its ICO, and you know, not a lot of people were talking about it, but generally speaking, what it's aimed to do is Patientori is aimed at helping to manage healthcare data on a large scale through the blockchain. Encrypted, secure, and distributed through the blockchain so your information is kept secure, yet at the same time is easily accessible if you want to give it to doctors and other healthcare professionals. So to me, I think this is extremely important. Healthcare data management has been extremely complicated over the past few years, and Patientori is aiming to fix that. So again, I'll have that video up sooner rather than later, and you'll be able to look into it. Either way, there's a lot of great resources online if you want to learn about it in a fundamental sense. But this chart is looking very nice to me. So this is the price history of Patientori on the daily chart. And we can see that the price action is kind of cupping back up to its ICO highs. Now, I always tell you all about the pattern of an IPO reversal. This is what you traditionally see on equities markets like stocks. And it's what stands for an initial public offering. So that's when a stock goes public on the stock exchange. And the IPO reversal method is when it launches onto the market, you usually have a pullback like this. It's common. All ICOs really did pull back during this time. But you have this pullback, and then you start, kind of cooling down. The fear goes away, and it kind of maintains a certain price level. And you start seeing the confidence come back in, and people start paying more of a premium for it. And then it goes past the highs over here and goes up to new highs above that. That's what's traditionally known as an IPO reversal. In the crypto space, it's an ICO reversal, an initial coin offering reversal. So again, it's the same concept. It's this kind of cupping pattern where it sells off at the start, comes back up, and then it breaks through and rallies to new highs. I think Patientori can do that. I think this is something that's sensible to bring to the blockchain. They have a concept. They have a value proposition for the actual Patientori token. So I'd recommend you look into it. Watch my video on it when it comes out. It looks like a really good winner for the next month. Next up, we have Navcoin. Now, we had made a call on Navcoin a while back. It was one of my top 3 small caps for September, but I had no idea Navcoin was going to get the sense of adoption that it did. I was optimistic on it, but man, did it get blown up. I mean, it was huge. And I get why Navcoin is getting some optimism. The privacy space has been huge in cryptocurrencies, and I'm still confident on Navcoin now that we've seen a pullback. So if we go here to the chart, if you haven't already, go watch my video on the top 3 small caps. I talk about Navcoin if you want to learn a little bit more about it. But for now, I mean, right now we're going through a perfect pullback. I hope that we can kind of slowly go down here to the 2,000 range, because not only was that previous resistance, that would make a perfect 50% pullback from the resistance at 40,000 Satoshis. 20,000 Satoshis would be spectacular to get into this. So I think you're going to see a curving price action along here, along this support level, which used to be resistance. And that would confirm Navcoin as really being a coin to watch over the next month. So again, look to see that kind of curving price action, and if it happens, I recommend possibly considering a buy on this one. I know that I will definitely be adding if it holds that level. And the last one I want to talk about, this is the one I was mentioning earlier when I said that most of them are at nice discounts. This one is at fresh highs, and I think there's good reason for it. It's ARK. We've talked about ARK on my channel recently. I delayed talking about ARK for too long. But as I looked more and more into it over the past month, my confidence grew on ARK. And sadly, I've missed out on a lot of the run-up for ARK. ARK has had a fantastic run-up. It's now a $400 million cryptocurrency, but it might have more room to go. ARK is kind of it's no specific focus point, really. It's kind of a wide-range jack-of-all-trades kind of cryptocurrency. And its platform is really opening up developers to the flexibility of development on the blockchain. So again, go watch my video if you don't know about ARK. I think it was a really interesting video kind of talking about the basics of ARK and what it's aiming to achieve and what it offers. And not to mention, the team is stellar on ARK. They have a lot of like hardcore tech junkies and stuff who really just seem to be optimistic about blockchain. And again, you just got to see this price action, folks. Oh my God, it's just amazing. Now, here's the thing. I also mentioned at the start that I would not be buying at fresh highs like this. We buy when we can get it at the cheaper end. Now, you can definitely see there's volume here. I think it's completely justified. The confidence in ARK is real. The thing about it, though, is that I think we're going to see a continuation of the pullback, or a continuing pullback after the highs. So we have the run up here, and I think we're going to get a pretty drastic sell-off, maybe cooling down, and finding support at one of these resistance points. I don't know where that's going to be per se, but I definitely would look somewhere around the 75,000 Satoshi range, because we've had a pretty drastic run up over the past few days. I think we'll correct a lot of it. And I think that, if it could hold up here very well and maybe find support at, 100,000 Satoshis, I'd still be fine with that. Because if it can run up that much and have a nice slow pullback holding the majority of its gains, That's confidence. That's massive. And this might be $1 billion cryptocurrency. I mean, we've seen some coins come up out of nowhere recently and really gain the traction and the volume that they need to really become the next big coin. So ARK looks great. I like the team. I love the objectives. Definitely check out my video if you get the chance. But these are the top 5 picks for the month, everyone. What do you all think about them? I'd like to hear down in the comments below. I think Neo, 10x, Patient Tori, NAV, and ARK are going to be all winners over the next month. I really like them. A lot of them are at big dips right now. A lot of them are at nice, fresh discounts. There's blood in the streets right now in crypto, and you want to buy when there's blood in the streets. When there's fear, everyone's worried, everyone's selling off their cheap cryptocurrency, and you can buy in and make a good return over the next month. So that's it for everyone. Let me know down in the comments below if there's a coin or token you'd like me to cover. But until then, everyone, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.